I will say, if I were to pick which one I like better, hands down, the original animation, in my opinion, I think is still better, but not by as much as I thought it would be.
That's actually a good point to make, because I think the one thing I said right after the movie is this is just missing something. I can't tell you what, but there's something, like a tinge of magic that's missing. Still amazing, still really loved it, like was very satisfied with it, thought it was super cool. But of course the original is gonna be better, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's not always the case, but I think it's definitely still the original that takes the cake. And I think that's mainly due to what animation is able to do with a story like this, that live action, no matter what you do, just can't. There's certain cadences, there's certain movements, there's certain like ways that characters carry themselves and like build on top of little motions, things here and there that, you know, the screen can capture that, again, you just can't capture in live action. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just something you notice going into it. But I feel like if you were to see this movie without seeing the original, you would have such a blast and you would love it all.
I do think this is actually one of the better movies to make into a live action. There's some movies that like never make into a live action. I do think this is one of the better ones because the story translates so well. Are you satisfied with it being a beat for beat remake?
Well, that's the thing. It's not...
It's close.
It is close, but it's just there to where I wouldn't call it beat for beat. And I honestly am pretty satisfied with what I got out of this movie.
Do you think Disney, DreamWorks, whoever makes a remake of an animated film, do you think they'll go for beat for beat? Because some of the Disney live action films, some of my favorite, Aladdin, Little Mermaid, they're not really beat for beat.
The thing with Lilo and Stitch, though, is regardless of our thoughts on the movie, it's already making like $800 million. That's already a success for them, regardless of if it makes $1 billion or not. It's hard to say whether or not they're going to tune into the idea of what people like more. Now, if How to Train Your Dragon makes more money than Lilo and Stitch, I would say maybe that might perk their ears up a little bit because money talks.
I think the greatest thing that I want Disney, DreamWorks, whoever to take away from this is if you can get the original director of the animated, please bring them back, because I think Dean did an amazing job with that because he understood the story.
If there's anyone that knows their characters better than anyone, you know, it's the guy that, you know, created them or brought them to our lives in the first place. I wouldn't always have the original animating director. I would give him the option, but you're putting a lot on the line by investing all that money on a potentially someone that might not have directed a live action film before.
Yeah, sure.
And that doesn't always perfectly translate. But I think you could get a good vibe off of someone, you know, especially like Dean DeBlois. But we'll figure that out.
Amazing.
Yeah, amazing. I think it's just going to be an interesting dynamic that happens after both of these movies come out with live action. Because, I mean, with Disney pumping the brakes on, you know, a lot of their live action remakes, and then How to Train Your Dragon now that we know it's going to be a financial success, I don't know, does that change their mind? Does it turn their heads? I don't know.